All right, hey everybody, welcome to episode 31 of the Stop and Give Me 20 podcast, 20 minutes with some of the world's top fitness professionals. I'm your host, Anthony Rennie. You can check out the show notes at stop20podcast.com. That's stop20podcast.com. Make sure you're subscribing on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts, and you're leaving a rating and a review. Again, that always helps us out, trying to creep up in the rankings on iTunes. All right, for today's episode, I have on Brijesh Patel. Brijesh is the head strength and conditioning coach at Quinnipiac. He's been there since 2008. He primarily works with men's and women's basketball as well as the ice hockey teams, but he also oversees the strength and conditioning development of all 21 varsity sports. He's a sought-out speaker. He's a prolific writer. He's been featured in too many publications to mention. This guy lives and breathes strength and conditioning. He's a tireless worker. He's an innovator, and he's an incredible motivator, something I got to see on a visit to Quinnipiac. Coach B, thanks for coming on, man.
And it's been a long time. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, hey, first of all, we got to congratulate you on the women's basketball MAC title.
Thank you very much. It's their third in 5 years, and they're on an impressive run. It was really cool, really exciting.
Very nice, and good luck coming up with the men's hockey team right now. You guys are hoping to, what are you in the quarterfinals right now, right?
Yeah, that's 2 out of 3 quarterfinal series right now, so we got to win 2 out of 3.
Nice.
Move on.
All right, well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
All right, B, let's get into this. What's your story? What's that spark, the early roots into your fitness lifestyle?
It's actually a long one, and I've actually been on. I was overweight as a child growing up for a really, really long time, and then I got to high school and played football and tried out for the basketball team, and I got cut from the basketball team, and I always finished last in conditioning and football, and after that year, I kind of made a commitment to myself. I was like, I'm going to lose weight. Like, I'm going to lose weight because I want to play. I want to make the basketball team. I want to do all this stuff. And I started absorbing everything I can from a fitness and health standpoint, and really drastically changed my life. And then over time, I loved everything about it, and I started realizing that, I want to do this for a career and for a living. And I loved athletics, and I started finding out you could be a strength conditioning coach, and you can kind of combine the two together. And the rest is kind of history.
Love it. Let's go a little deeper into this absorbing of all the information you can. So, what year was this now for the most part? This is in the 90s, right? The late 90s?
Yeah, 90s. Okay. 1994, 1995. So it was like 14, 15 years old.
Okay, so how are we getting information? Where'd you get it? And how'd you lose the weight?
So everything was through Muscle and Fitness. Muscle and Fitness, bodybuilding magazines. There was no internet. That's really basically how I found stuff out. You know what the other thing is, too? I'd watch, like, fitness shows. I don't know if you remember Elad and all those kind of shows.
Yeah.
Like, would it be on TV? Yeah. And so I'd watch them. I'd learn new exercises. I'd try different things out. And then I basically read everything I could in those magazines, and started understanding like what some training was and what to do. And I ended up losing 90 pounds in 6 months. So it wasn't the healthiest way I went about it. There's definitely times where I starved myself, but it started it, it started the path, and then it just kind of increased my thirst for more and more knowledge. And then when the internet came out, I went to so many different sites. I remember once I used to go to sportspecific.com, the old Ryan Lee site that I used to run there. And it was really cool to see like what strength conditioning coaches would do. And I started just understanding a little bit more. And then when I was at UConn, they gave me books and they told me what to read, and kind of led me to the NSCA and ultimately like Mike Boyle. And so it started from magazines first, and that's basically where it started.
That's funny, Gilad. I remember those ESPN shows he used to have, and he had to like that accent, and he would be like, "Okay, come on, you can do it. 1 and 2 and 17."
Yep.
Like he would go. He was
that's
awesome.
Right. Bodies in Motion, I think.
Yes.
Bodies in Motion. I think.
Who was the beautiful? Was it Kiana or something? Or remember the woman?
Yeah.
the Hawaiian. They used to be in like the beaches. Oh God.
You're right. You're right. I remember her too.
All right. Well, that's such a great story. I love it. And it's always great to kind of hear that super transformation, and that kind of sparks you into helping others. I love it.
Thanks. Yeah, it was really cool. Really cool when I look back at it.
All right. Talk to me about growing up. Who influenced you the most to become who you are?
That's got to be my parents, specifically my dad, but both my parents. I mean, they came to America, for a dream for them and for me, and they worked their tails off, relentless, never made excuses about anything, about their situation, about what we had, what we didn't have. They just taught me about hard work, and they taught me about being a good person, and they taught me about persevering and all these kinds of things that I didn't see or get in the moment at that age. But as I got older and older and older, I started realizing all the lessons that they did teach me. And it was, it's just really cool because I try to impart those teachings upon my athletes and the people I come in contact with now. So they're the foundation of me.
Love it. I think sometimes it's a shame that we don't realize it in the moment, right? But as you get older, you start to realize, see some of the qualities that you have, and you see how they shaped you.
Absolutely. I'm very fortunate to have them, and they held me as accountable as they could, and it paid off for sure.
Love it. What about now? Who's a superhero now? I know you come in contact with a lot of great people as well, and who out there is doing some great things that you think is that you're looking up to?
Honestly, it's I don't know if there's anybody that I really look up to now. I mean, my father passed away probably 4 years ago now, so I think it's still him. I think it's still him and the things that he would do and the things that he say. Like, I catch myself saying the same exact things to my student athletes that he would say to me.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, anybody out there right now, I think there's a lot of people that do really good work, but I don't know if there's anybody that I would really look up to per se, because I don't think I know them on a personal level. I think if you really want to look up to somebody, I think you have to know them on a personal level. I don't think you can just take them at whatever they're trying to sell or whatever they're saying on a stage. I think you got to get to know them on a personal level and see, is their life really the same way as what they're trying to tell you to do. Does that make sense, Dan?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, like you said about your dad, I think, it doesn't matter to me if they're living or dead, because there's a standard that you have in your head, and he set that standard. So I think that's pretty valid, and it's inspiring. Cool.
Yeah.
B, what about now? Well, who are you trying to be a superhero to? I know you have your kids, but who are you trying to help with your message?
This is my student athletes, and basically everybody I come in contact with. I think that's the most important thing. Like, I think we've got a unique ability as coaches and trainers, and what we decide to do and what we do on a daily basis. And it's not just about making people stronger, faster, bigger, all those kind of things. I think the other thing that we do is we've got a unique ability to teach lessons through strength conditioning, and strength conditioning just happens to be my avenue in how to impart some wisdom and teach our student athletes about not only themselves, like their bodies, but also their minds at the same time. And I think there's so many important lessons that you can take away from you into the real world that you learn in the weight room. Things like adversity and things about being punctual and being on time and being a good teammate and encouraging and helping and being relentless and talking and having an intensity and having a sense of urgency and all those types of things. So I think I try to be a superhero, definitely to my own children, but also to the student athletes that I'm fortunate enough to work with on a daily basis.
Love it. Now you've been there since 2008. You were at Holy Cross before that. Talk to me a little bit about some of the positive stuff that you love about the kids in 2017 and 2000 that are coming in and that coming across you, that are coming into your weight room. Talk to me about the positives there with this generation.
They like to learn. They really do. They like to learn, and I think information is so readily available at their hands that they're really inquisitive and they like to learn why. And education is a big piece of the way I coach, and I love that aspect of them. Like, I can have conversations about, here, this is something that I'm learning, and this is what we're going to try to implement, and they'll start asking why. I can explain to them, they're like, oh, interesting. Because as soon as they know why, your buy-in increases. You know what I mean? They will do whatever you say. If they trust you and they know that you're coming from a place that you care about their development and you care about them, they will do whatever you say. So I really admire how much they want to learn and their ability to use technology too, because I think technology is coming into every single weight room and you got to be able to understand how to use it. I think those are probably the two coolest things.
With that technology, let's expand on that. Have you gotten into with them, because they're right on campus, but with off season, et cetera, is it easier now with the technology? Because you were always someone when you were at Holy Cross who, I remember you guys had programs, you did all the videos for Jeff Oliver and et cetera. Are you working with any apps or are there anything that you guys are doing that you feel like the technology has really helped?
Not really. I mean, we use a wellness app called MetroFit to try to log daily questionnaires and sleep and all that kind of stuff. We use heart rate monitoring with our women's ice hockey team. Other than that, I mean, we use apps like Huddle or to try to teach our athletes like getting hip extension or like a technique in a certain exercise. But that's really it. Like we want to get to velocity-based training. We want to be able to do those types of things, but we don't have access to those right now. But that's the tech that we're using right now.
Love it. B, what's a challenge with kind of working with some kids? And again, that has nothing to do with this generation, just in general, as a college strength and conditioning coach, what's some of the biggest challenges you face?
I think, like I said before, one of the benefits is their knowledge and why they want to learn. I think sometimes that could be a challenge at the same time too, because there's sometimes you might have kids that think they know everything, and they may not be as humble to have an open mind to learn even more and understand maybe there's a better way to do things. Like I pride myself in always trying to get better, and we ask our student athletes to try to get better all the time. But to really improve and get better, you have to have an open mind and an open heart to really listen to the people around you so they can actually try to help you improve. And ultimately, you're making that choice to be able to do that or not. So that's a challenge sometimes, is if you get student athletes who may not have that mindset yet, you've got to try to create them, and you got to create that mindset, and you got to get them to understand why it's important to not just look at one way. Like maybe there's another way to improve. And our hockey coach always calls it, he wants our guys to have blind faith. You got to have blind faith in people around you that they're going to do everything they can to help you get better.
Love it. Let's move into like the team or the sport idea. I know in golf we've come a long way in terms of people understanding the importance of fitness. Baseball has come a long way. I remember every time I see the Allen Iverson video of him talking about practice, I always think of you because at Mike Boyle's winter seminar, you showed that. I was dying. So every time I see that, I think of you. And you were just talking about the challenges of working with basketball at the time. This is 10 years ago. Have things changed for basketball players and the sport in terms of understanding the importance of getting into the gym?
Slightly. You still got that. You still got the stigma with a lot of basketball. It's really not in the culture per se at a youth level. They're not getting it. They're not seeing about it. They're not learning about it. So the first time they experience it and be exposed to it is maybe late high school or in college. The big emphasis in basketball is still like play year round, and it's so hard to break that because of the way AAU is and the system is, and it's so easy to play year round. It's not like hockey or football where you need ice and you need a goalie and you need multiple people. And you need 11 people to play football. Like you play one-on-one. You know what I mean? And people can spend hours and hours on the court. You can go outside. You can be inside. And there isn't an affinity yet towards the weight room. Now there are a lot of professional athletes that they may look up to, like a Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, and they see how hard they work within the weight room, and that can get a trickle down effect but still, it's not starting at a younger level. In hockey, you get it. In hockey, you get it like from an off-ice training because you can't get ice time for 2 hours all the time. You're going to have to be able to do other things to supplement your on-ice work. And at a younger, Mike Doyle said all the time, like he would go to rinks and show them how to do little workouts at the rink and stuff like that. And that's part of the culture in hockey. It's not part of the culture of basketball yet. So that is still a challenge.
All right, B, now it's time for the stop. And give me 5 rapid-fire questions and answers. You ready to go?
I am.
All right, proudest moment at Quinnipiac.
My proudest moment, obviously, is we've had a lot of success in the most recent years, like winning championships and going to tournaments and stuff. But I think my proudest moment is when our student athletes start repeating the same things that I say to incoming freshmen. That's when I know a culture has formed and a culture has been developed. Is when they start saying the same exact things that you say because they believe it and they know it's going to help them. So that's probably the proudest moment.
All right. You can have lunch with anyone you haven't met on the planet. Who is it going to be?
This isn't a very exotic one, but I'd probably say Bill Belichick. And the reason why is because I think he's an unbelievable, not only coach, but a motivator, but organizer. Like the way he gets that team to peak and be prepared is remarkable. And he does it year after year after year after year. So I'd love to know his hows and how he does things to help me make me a better coach in person.
He's obviously a coach's coach. I just had Coach McKeefrey on last episode, and he basically had the same answer. So, good stuff. And he's not from New England, so I can't even blame it on that. B, what's the book that influenced you most in your life?
Probably Way of the Peaceful Warrior. I read this way back in my junior year in college, and it was interesting. It was a book that kind of taught me about how to stay in the present. It's a story by Dan Millman, but it taught me a lot about how to stay in the present and not worry about things that are outside of my control. And it allowed me to be really at peace with myself during times that are when you might be stuck, with some adversity and things like that. So that's probably a great book.
I love that book. I read that a long time ago as well. Good stuff. If you could have been in any movie, what would it have been in?
Yeah, I thought about this one for a while. I think it's got to be Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I would love to be like a Jedi Knight in one of those movies because it's not real. I think it'd be, it takes you to a little fantasy, and I think it's just really cool what they do and how they believe in energy and the Force and all those types of things. I think it'd be really cool.
Are you more of Luke Skywalker or Han Solo? Who do you got?
I'm a Luke guy. I'm not a Han guy.
B, we're sending in a coach or a motivational speaker to Quinnipiac to work with you for the day. You can have anyone. Who we're sending in?
Inky Johnson. You know who he is?
No.
Yeah, you got to check out some of the stuff on YouTube. He was a former athlete, a Tennessee football player who ended up getting paralyzed his junior or senior year, and basically had everything taken from him. I mean, he came from nothing. He's got an incredible story, but he does motivational speaking right now. And he is incredible, like just great message, so positive, never complains about his situation or what was taken from him or what he could have had. It's really incredible. So that's the guy.
Nice.
And if you don't know him and haven't seen anything about him, you got to check him out on YouTube. He's awesome.
All right, go check him out. B, you working on anything, any projects or anything that's getting you excited right now?
Not to tell you the truth, not really. Just working on just our off-season programs, summer programs, putting stuff together. One big thing that I have used over the last probably 6-7 months, I think is going to be incredible for the field, is RPR, Reflection Performance Reset. I don't know if you're familiar with that yet.
I'm not. I just saw Henry Lau was posting some stuff on I think he's practicing it, right?
Yeah. So it's unbelievable in terms of increasing some neural pathways to try to get your body to reduce compensations and move and feel better. And we use it on a daily basis with our student athletes, and it's technique they can do themselves. We can do on our athletes, and it's been incredible. But I'm not affiliated with it by any means, but I've taken the course, and I know Cal and Jay Howe and Chris Corfus, the guys that kind of run it. But I think it's going to spread like wildfire. So I think that's probably the next big thing. But I'm not involved in it, but I just love it.
All right, good stuff. I got to talk to you after the show about that and maybe talk about getting you on the Strength Coach podcast. Good stuff.
Okay.
B, what's your letter to your younger self? What advice are you going to give young B?
I would say to listen to your parents because they actually did know everything, and they actually are looking out for you in your best interest at all times, even when you don't think so. Say hello to everybody because you never know who can help you. Be nice to every single person that you come in contact with, and always keep your eyes open because you never know what's going to happen.
All right, love it. Well, I know the student athletes at Quinnipiac are in such great hands. Like I said, I got to see that for myself on my visit there. You are an innovator and an incredible motivator, and we really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thanks, Ann. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for episode 31 of the Stop and Give Me 20 podcast. Thanks again to Coach Brijesh Patel. Make sure to check out all the links to all his stuff at stop20podcast.com. Don't forget, subscribe to the show, leave us a review and a rating. My name is Anthony Rana. Thanks so much for stopping by.